Hello, welcome to We Don't Talk About Uno, a podcast about the Disney Lorcana trading card game. My name's Simeon. I'm here with my co-host David. How you doing, David?
I'm good. Last time we spoke, it was so cold, and then this week it's just been so wet because it's winter here in the UK in the Northern Hemisphere. And so let me just say, put me in summer and I'll be a happy snowman.
It's been such horrible weather. Yeah, waiting for the summer to come. And yeah, if you're listening from the Southern Hemisphere, we still hate you. No, it's beautiful to have you with us. It's yeah. So since we last recorded, we've had actual new cards spoiled, which is very exciting.
It is.
But we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what we've been up to over the break. And Happy New Year. This is going out in 2023.
Yeah, Happy New Year, everybody.
We hope you've all had a great break and you've managed to take some time off. We have. It's been great. But we thought we'd start with a recap of what happened in 2022. If you're just joining this Lorcana hype train, a few weeks before D23, Disney's flagship fan event, they announced Lorcana, a trading card game that was made in partnership with Ravensburger, or that will be made in partnership with Ravensburger. At the event on September the 9th, they released a limited supply of 7 trading cards, which at the time of recording are each selling for upwards of $800. And with the game not set to release still until autumn 2023. Since then, we've been tracking news from Ravensburger and the community hype, and we plan to continue doing so.
Yeah. Can you remember the 7 cards?
Can I? No, I'm the one that quizzes you, not the other way round.
We're doing it all backwards today. We're starting with the quiz, and it's me asking the questions.
Great. So 7 cards: Mickey Mouse, Elsa, Stitch, Cruella de Vil, Captain Hook, Maleficent, and one other card. Oh, Robin Hood.
I was going to say it's a fox. Yeah, Robin Hood.
Amazing. Great. We will get to talking about the new cards, but what have you been up to, David?
Well, last time you told me about Marvel Snap. That is so addictive.
It really is, right?
And we've been texting about it, and I've been trying to catch up with your level, and I think I'm there. We're both on is it the platinum level now?
Yeah. Well, I'm mid. I've been up to mid platinum. I'm now back to 52 or 53 at the moment.
I'm ahead of you. I'm at 55. I nearly hit 56 today.
Amazing. I don't know what it is about it, but and this has been since I started playing. It's been 10 steps forward, 5 steps back, 10 steps forward. I just go on a losing spree for no apparent reason. But I think that's part of why it's so addictive.
Yeah. There's got to be an algorithm there, right, that notices what brings you back?
Oh, no. I really hope not. I really hope I'm not just playing against the things that... it's really bad. Okay, so have you been enjoying it, though?
Loving it. And what I really like about it is it's giving me a new avenue into Marvel characters.
Okay.
Like I said, was it last time I said I'm not great at sitting down to watch a movie. So, I like the Marvel world, the Marvel universe, and I sometimes watch the movies, but this is like another way into the characters. So when I'm playing other games like Marvel Champions, I'm like, oh yeah, I know that one. That's a really cool card in Marvel Snap. I want to buy a deck around that character now.
Nice. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. I've definitely, because I think even Marvel's so huge that even if you know or you think you know Marvel, I don't know. I thought I knew Marvel. I grew up reading X-Men comics. I've watched all of the MCU stuff.
Yeah.
And I've really enjoyed a lot of it. Yeah. Also, love Spider-Man comics and stuff. Really enjoyed all of that. And now I'm just like, sorry, there's a dinosaur? What? Yeah, so even when you think, oh yeah, I know, Marvel, there's still stuff to. What's your most flavorful card? What's the card that you've been most excited about?
Flavorful card. So there's 2 cards I really like, and I don't know. I haven't checked if these are in Marvel Champions yet, but I'm hoping. So one is, I think it's called White Queen or Snow Queen, something like that.
Yeah, the White Queen. Yeah.
So that's really my play style when I'm playing trading card games. Is like, take other people's stuff and use it against them, and that's exactly what she does. Take the other person's win condition and then use that to win.
So do you know who White Queen is in the...
No, I've no idea. No
idea. So it's one of these things that the character will have been something else before I was reading, and will now be doing something else in a different part of the Marvel universe. Mm-hmm. But when I was reading the comics in mid-90s, And I was probably reading them 3 years behind whatever was happening in America, because I was reading them in northern Spain, and they've obviously got to be translated and reprinted and all of that stuff. So I don't know how far behind I was. But I read Generation X, which was like an X-Men spin-off.
Okay.
And she was taking over or from Professor X.
Okay.
Patrick Stewart.
So am I right in thinking that this might seem like such a basic question? In Marvel Snap, you're playing villains and heroes in the same deck.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, okay.
So, there's no rhyme or reason. Yeah, so my most thematic, the one that I was like, oh my goodness, I can't believe that guy's here, that I've enjoyed playing is Leech. Have you seen that card?
I don't have that card
So
yet.
Leech erases other cards' powers. So that it just makes the
that's so
cards
mean.
vanilla, so they can't. And that's what he's in Generation X, or he was in the Morlocks before, and then was in Generation X. And these days I have no idea what he's doing in the actual Marvel comic book universe. However, the card does exactly what the character's superpower is. So that's pretty fun. Amazing. And what deck have you been playing? What have you had most success with?
So what I noticed that other people don't play a lot of, or when I win up against people, it's because they don't play on what you call on curves. They miss playing a card each turn. So each turn you get one more resource. So in the first turn you get one resource, second turn you get two resources, and so on. And so obviously, I think it's obvious, but maybe it's not, that if you use those resources, you're going to do better than someone who skips a turn, because maybe on turn 2, they've only got cards that cost 3 or 4 power, so they can't play them.
Yeah.
So I keep my power curve, as we call it, low. So that's been and then steal their win condition with White Queen, and then put in cards like Blue Marvel that then make the cheap cards more powerful. There is a way to completely blow up my deck, because there's a card that just like destroy all cards that cost 1.
Yes.
And
so
that's
in my deck.
If I there are ways to telegraph that coming, because I feel like if someone's playing especially if they're playing a deck with lots of 3-cost cards, because that's the 3-cost cards they like a Silver Surfer style deck, then I'll just retreat and just not keep playing, because that's probably going to wipe me out in the last turn.
So that's a really interesting part of the game, isn't it? That you can just retreat and not. And to be honest, I think that's how people climb the ladder, or that's how I've had success in climbing the ladder.
That's what I've found. Now I've got to platinum level.
Yeah.
It's so annoying, because I'm like, I've got this game, I've got it, it's totally in hand, and then my opponent retreats, and then you only get 1 point rather than 4 or 8 that you could get if they didn't retreat.
But a lot of people will. I had a lot.
It's a smart move, though, if you know you lose.
And I had a lot of success recently. I think I was telling you about it yesterday, playing a deck full of like hateful cards that everybody would hate playing against.
Yeah.
And just snapping early so that if they retreat, they were definitely losing 2 cubes and just going up the ladder 2 cubes at a time. Which, I mean, I don't know. I didn't really enjoy playing that deck much. I mean, it worked to climb the ladder for a bit. But there's also, you've got to find your own play style. It's really interesting, because even though it's a different card game and it's very different to a lot of the other card games I've played, there are still certain archetypes that are necessary, and if you've played one card game, it will help you playing another, and that's what I'm looking forward to with Lorcana as well. That I know that in Magic the Gathering and in the Final Fantasy trading card game and in Marvel Snap and in every other card game that I've played, there are ways to steal other people's cards, like you said. That's fun, and that's a good, that's a fun tactic. Having more cards is usually better, so great.
That's what I find, having played trading card games, is I can. So there are if you win a certain zone in the game, you sometimes get a bonus.
Yeah.
And I feel like I see the value in those where other players don't, so I'm like going for those, and if you get them, that's like the game win to me. Other people don't go for them, and I don't get it. It's like,
there's definitely sometimes where you look at things and go, who am I playing against? But I think that's all online games. All online games, you don't know whether
but you should be matched against someone who's roughly the same level as you, or you'd hope so.
But that's difficult, isn't it? How does the algorithm know how competent? They might know how good the deck is, but they might not know how competent the player is. So I've got a correction to make. I had a comment on the last episode where I said having more cards is always better, and there was a comment saying, what about the game Uno? Your podcast.
We don't talk about this. Resuming normal service.
Okay, right, okay. So what else have you been up to? You have had an order of Magic cards, you were telling me.
Yeah, I get lots of Magic cards. But my most recent deck that I've built is... I was quite excited about this idea that I had that's called a gumball deck. I've never seen a gumball in Britain. I think it's an American thing, but it's like a candy, a sweet.
A ball of gum.
A ball of gum that costs a quarter, 25 cents.
Okay.
So the idea is that in this deck, every card you buy costs less than 25 cents. And that's like bargain basement level for
Yeah.
So you're trying to find the best cards. But I wanted to build another Disney themed deck. So we talked last week about the Disney theme, and I started watching the movie Pinocchio.
The new one or the old one?
The new Disney one with Tom
yeah,
Hanks in it. Yeah, like the live action one. Yeah, the old one used to terrify me, so I'm hoping this one's a little bit less scary. But I was a kid.
Really freaky.
Yeah.
It's really, really freaky. I'm looking forward to I haven't seen it yet, the Guillermo del Toro one, because obviously these things, they're buses. They two come out at the same time.
Yeah.
Looking for, because I really like Guillermo del Toro's work, but it's there's going to be some freaky looking stuff.
Something terrifying.
He can't help himself.
Yeah, so my commander's called Tornos the Toymaker. So what happens with Tornos the Toymaker is that when you play so you have your commander Tornos out in play, and then when you play other cards, in particular if they are birds or beasts, then he creates an extra version of that card, so you get a toy version of it. So you might put like a dinosaur style card out that's a beast, that's classified as a beast, and then you get a second toy dinosaur.
Amazing.
So it's really thematic to me of like Pinocchio. And then there is a card that represents Pinocchio in the Magic universe, so obviously that one goes in, and
brilliant.
I'm still trying to work out what the blue fairy would be. At the moment I need your help with this, Simeon, because I've chosen a card called Illusory Angel, because it looks like a kind of adult, because that's the size of the blue fairy, adult size.
Okay.
And it's very blue, so it looks right, but obviously she's not an angel, so it's...
Wow, it can work.
And
Does it work
there
with
are
a
loads
deck,
of fairies in Magic. No, it doesn't work with a deck.
It's just there. Have you got a whale?
There's a really fun whale that's kind of my play style, where it gives, so you bring the whale out and it gives all the other players pirates.
Amazing.
And while they've got pirates, the pirates have to attack anyone but you. So it's my kind of play style.
And that's for less than 25 cents?
No, that's not. So that's why it's not in this deck.
Oh, yeah, you need to find a cheap whale. Yeah. Slim Voda's been reprinted so many times. That's got to be...
is that a whale?
It's got to be there or there. I mean, it's a sea mammoth thing, creature, kraken thing. I don't know.
Yeah, no, finding cards that cost less than 25 cents was a lot of fun. But it's the kind of... There are some decks where the commander gives you a lot of value in and of themselves.
Yeah.
And that commander is designed to make cards that people overlook interesting, and that's the kind of card this is, because it looks at birds and beasts. And in a lot of decks, those wouldn't be interesting, because just the amount of mana, the amount of resource that you pay for them, you don't get a good return on your investment. But because you get two of them, you get it twice, and so most of the cards actually that are in, probably half the cards that are in like a really good Tornos deck are less than 25 cents anyway.
Yeah, I mean, in Magic, birds are almost comically bad, almost all of the time.
And beasts, most of the beasts, at least the ones I've found.
Yeah, the beasts are so bad that one of the most popular kill spells is the person gets a free beast. That's how insignificant they are. Oh, brilliant. Amazing. Okay, shall we talk about the new Lorcana cards?
Let's do it.
Brilliant. First of all, we do have a correction, which I have tweeted out I put it out on Twitter.
This is different to the previous correction, which we're not going to talk about anymore.
No, definitely, yeah. Knive actually got in touch with us and said that because we had talked about that Knive had put out a video saying that he had asked some questions to the social media channel, the official Disney Lorcana social media channel, and they had answered them saying that there will be 2 ink colours, i.e. 2 different colour cards, limit to each deck. And we had said, will this be a hard limit or will it be? And Knive was really kind and sent through the details, actually sent through screenshots of the conversation that Knive had with the game designers that actually did say, yes, this is a hard limit. So that's been confirmed.
And it was with the game designers as well. That was really cool that the designers are because we'd speculated that maybe this was a content creator that had seen something, but actually it was one of the game designers. So it's clearly a tight-knit team at Ravensburger who are engaged with the audience. Yeah,
and the other thing that I was really interested to see and this was all in the same thread on Twitter. If you're not on Lorcana Twitter, it's I can't really recommend Twitter at the moment because, oh my goodness, that platform's going down the pan. However, it's still a place where a lot of Lorcana stuff is discussed, and the hashtag Lorcana is the place to find things. Anyway, on that same conversation, some of the social media people from Lorcana were tweeting pictures of the inside of the game office. So this was Ravensburger North America game office.
Yeah.
And it's a relatively small space. Like, we're not talking hundreds of people in there. I'm sure that obviously in things like sales and distribution and places like that, there are probably much more people. Also, I think the company was founded in Germany, is that right?
Yeah, it's a German.
It may be that in Germany they've of course got a lot more people. But yeah, Ravensburger North America game section is a small enough team where the social media person can wander over to the desk of the game designer and say, hey, what's the deal with this? Which is really nice to know. It's really nice to feel like you're part of something when you're getting tweets from the person that's sat next to the person that's designing the game.
Yep, that's cool.
It's pretty fun. Anyway, we've had 2 new cards. Which should we start with, David?
Card 8 and card 9. The numbers will go up, and I enjoy counting. So,
yeah, in 3 years' time, David's like, card 972.
We'll have more than that in 3 years, I hope, Simeon. I want to give one more bit of news before we go into the cards.
Okay, yeah.
Because Ryan Miller, one of the designers, I'm pretty sure this is a brand new interview that he's given. And so we talked last time about how Ravensburger and Lorcana were teasing us a bit.
Yes.
And so basically he's gone on to the record and saying, yes, we quite enjoy teasing you.
Amazing.
So what he said that for him, making games is like that feeling you get when you've bought someone a gift. This is very, very Christmassy, very holiday season, isn't it? And they haven't gotten it yet, and you're excited for them to open it. And he says that's what he feels when he works on a game. So he's got that holiday season feeling of enjoying the fact that we don't know everything yet, and he's going to be giving us the gift when we know the rules in the spring and then the full game in the autumn.
So when you buy presents for people, obviously, I recognise that feeling.
Yeah.
But when somebody buys a gift for you and you see it wrapped underneath the Christmas tree and you don't know what it is, do you like that feeling or does it eat away at you? Because I'm just like, oh my goodness, what is it?
That's what we're like with Lorcana, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a little bit of both, isn't it? It's like a love-hate thing. Yeah,
that's all good. If people want to look at the interview, where can they find that interview?
Literally, I read out most of the quote. He did it with comicbook.com. It seems like a reliable source. They're part of Paramount Global, so I did check sources. Yeah.
No, it was so that people can go and look at it.
Yeah.
I'm not doubting. I do doubt you often, David, but I just meant so that people can.
No, but from the start, I've been quoting sources, and I think that's important.
Oh, good stuff. So we've got two new cards. I'm going to take some credit. So, literally, after 2 hours after we recorded, they started spoiling another card, and they started spoiling it. Last time we recorded it with artwork, and that's totally what I said they'd do. I said they will publish the artwork first.
This is before our podcast went out.
Sorry?
This is before our podcast was released, or after?
Yeah, this was before our podcast was released, but after we'd recorded it.
So they were listening in.
They were listening in. Oh yeah,
and got the ideas from you.
Yeah, they've got a bug in the studio somewhere.
So yeah, let's talk about that card then.
Maybe Sheldon the tortoise is phoning them up with secret news. Okay, so that card. Shall I just read it? It is a. We're assuming 5 cost. There is a number 5 in the right-hand corner. Mm-hmm. It's in a in the left-hand corner. Top left. It's in a slightly different shape to the other things we've seen. So I'm not sure if that means the surround of that number is a slightly different shape. Go online and take a look at it. The best place to look at cards is Lorcania.com, which has all of the cards laid out there and you can take a look at them. I say the best. That's a place you could look at them. But I'm really enjoying it. That's where I look at cards. Anyway.
Sure. Yeah.
The card is called Dragon Fire. And it is an action. So it's not a character card. So it literally is a red. It says Dragon Fire, action, banish, chosen character. There's also then, in the image where they spoiled this card, there is also then some whirling mists and things obscuring the lower half of the card. So there might be something else there, we don't know. But at the moment, the news is there are action cards. It's not just characters. And
so the type, what's interesting, the type action is where it would normally say something like storyborn or villain. Like that's where they put it. So it's like, I don't know if that means anything, but I think it's...
I think that there's... You're right that it's not... There isn't a separation between the card types, or doesn't appear to be a separation between the card types and then the classes or whatever you want to call the types of character. Because character cards don't say character on them; they literally just say
glimmer.
They literally
just say the name of the character, like Maleficent or Brave Little Tailor or whatever. Yeah.
So that's an interesting thing, but I don't think, from a clarity point of view, I don't think that affects gameplay at all. I think it's very clear what that does. There's been a lot of talk about the cost of this, which it costs 5 resources, or we're assuming that that's the resource cost.
Because it says 5 in the top left.
It says 5 in the top left, so we're assuming it costs 5 resources.
So why has there been a lot of talk about this? Why is that interesting?
That's a lot in comparison to other trading card games where there are characters. I mean...
Where there's stuff that removes other characters of it.
Yeah. Most card games where you can play things that stick around for multiple turns, characters and things like that, have a way of getting rid of those things. We've already seen this.
Other than just attacking them.
Exactly. We've already seen this on the Maleficent card, which literally has the Dragonfire ability on it. So Dragonfire, the new card, is just like the ability that is on the Maleficent card. Which is that when it gets played, you banish a chosen character. I would say a Dragonfire on the Maleficent card says banish chosen opposing character, whereas this one says banish chosen character, so you could banish your own character. I'm not sure why you'd do that.
Okay.
But you could. But most of those things would cost less than 5 resources. So this could mean 2 things. Firstly,
most of what things would cost less than 5?
Most actions that remove something.
In other card
games. Most card games that say, get rid of other thing.
Yeah.
The reason for this, so I mean, it could mean 2 things. Firstly, it could mean that 5 isn't a lot of resources.
Yeah.
For Lorcana. It could be the very generous with resources. You've got resources to go around. But when you've got other cards that cost, we've seen cards that cost 1 and 2 resources.
Yeah.
And when you've got cards that cost 1 or 2 resources, if you play a card that costs 1 resource, and then I have to spend 5 resources to get rid of that.
You wouldn't.
That's just not efficient. Yeah.
No. But there are also, looking at it from another angle, Simeon, there are also cards that cost 8, Brave Little Tailor, and 9, Maleficent.
Yeah.
Which is also unusual in trading card games, I think, or at least in a Magic that I played. It is very rare that you pay 9 or 8 or 9 for a single character that just comes out and bees.
Well, the biggest things.
Character,
I would say that's not unreasonable.
The hugest things.
Yeah,
I suppose so. Yeah.
And also,
I
think
would do something more than just come out and sit there.
Oh, yeah. But I'd say that they've also got to give themselves some area to power creep efficiency.
Yes.
You start with things that are slightly less efficient, so that 3 years into a game, you can print things that are still relevant and a bit more efficient.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm thinking of a couple of comparisons. So one is Marvel Champions, where in some decks, there's nothing I can think of that's just like get rid of the villain, but like Spider-Man, in Spider-Man's deck, there are some cards where you deal 8 damage to a character, and if that's one of the minions rather than the villain themselves, that will take out
almost anything, won't it?
And it would normally take out between a third and a half, maybe even more than half of the villain's life total, and that costs 3. So and then in Magic the Gathering, I mean, the most powerful removal spells, the ones that you want to play, cost 1. And some of them cost 2. And that you wouldn't really go above that unless there's another benefit to playing that card.
Yeah. Or unless you're, there's plenty of...
Unless you're building a gumball deck and buying 25 cent cards.
Totally. Yeah, I use inefficient removal all the time just because it's fun. But you're totally right. Yeah, I mean, you want to use a card like Swords to Plowshares, which literally costs 1 resource to play, get rid of any creature. Okay, there's 2 ways to make a game a bit more beginner friendly and a bit less brutal. One thing is to just not print that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You can have games where, and there are plenty of games out there where hard removal, the get rid of your thing, there's nothing you can do about it, just doesn't exist. I think Pokemon, I know there are ways to do that, but Pokemon is probably the example of a card where it's very hard to just get rid of all of the players' Pokemons and there's nothing else they can do with it.
In general, you get to keep your stuff until it...
In general,
fighting. Challenging or fighting.
The Pokemon are fighting each other, and you get to keep them around to do that. Oh, but the other thing is, you can just make this a really inefficient strategy, because I think that what we see in other card games, and I'll go back to Marvel Snap that we were talking about before. Marvel Snap, one of the most powerful strategies at the moment that I'm seeing is a control strategy. It are the strategies that get rid of your things or make your things inefficient or stop you playing cards in certain places and all of those things. So that control strategy. But it's not nice to play against. If I were to show that to the child would be like, no, I don't want to play that.
No.
Whereas if I showed them something that was just like, oh, here's something big, here's a big splashy dragon like Maleficent that you can play.
Yeah.
That's going to get them excited. Whereas a card that says, no, you can't play that dragon when it's sat in their hand, burning away. They're just like, oh my goodness, why can I not play it?
Yeah.
So I do wonder if that it's purposeful that at the moment, at the start of the game, that kind of strategy, the strategy of I'm going to play things that stop you from doing what you want to do, is just an inefficient strategy. Just isn't very good in the game. Just doesn't get you very far. Which, I'd be excited to see that. I could be wrong. They could preview another 3 cards and then all be one-costed removal things, banish, everything.
Yeah. So I want to look at it from a couple of other angles, because this is like the value of the card. Is it good value to spend 5, or what we think is 5, to do this thing?
Yes.
And I think it potentially is. And there's a couple of angles to look at that from. So there are, like I said, there are a good number of characters that are costing more than 5. So then if you've spent 5 to take out one of those characters, you've been more efficient than the other player, so you've put yourself probably a bit ahead. But then on top of that, those big characters, so we look at Brave Little Tailor Mickey.
Yes.
There's 4 of those symbols that we don't know what they are. I'm calling them law symbols, Lorcana symbols on the bottom right.
Yes.
The speculation is that those are related to winning the game somehow. You're collecting them, or there's something you need those for. So if you take out Mickey, you're 3 resource ahead because they've spent 8 and you've taken it out for 5. And then you're 4 resource ahead in that symbol as well. Whereas if you play Robin Hood, that's a 6 cost card, you only get 2 of those symbols. So
yes.
It could be a very efficient, good play, even at 5.
Oh, yeah. I definitely think that there will be times when you want to play that type of thing.
Yeah.
I think talking about what we were talking about before, when you're saying you play Marvel Snap and you play a load of really low value things to stay on curve, i.e. that when you have the resources, when you have relatively few resources at the beginning of the game, you're spending those resources each turn.
Yeah.
Is that, let's say I draw however many cards you draw in Lorcana, we don't know yet, but let's say I draw my initial hand of cards.
Yeah.
And there's a 5 cost card in there to remove something, and I want to spend that on something that costs more. I want to spend that to banish one of your characters that costs more than 5.
Yeah.
Then chances are that's a dead hand for the first few turns of the game. That's a dead card for the first few turns of the game.
There is a good chance of that, but that's assuming that the game has a curve like Magic or like Marvel Snap.
Yeah.
Because it could be that you start off with a baseline of 6 resources every turn and then you build up from there or something like that. So because there are lots of high cost cards, and like you say, people want to play their cards.
Yes.
And I think they'll be thinking about that. You don't want to draw Maleficent and Mickey and Robin Hood and not be able to play any of them.
Yeah,
so,
no, you're totally right.
Which we'll come to a bit more in Olaf, because Olaf's at the other end of the scale. That's a cheap card. But
sorry, Olaf?
Olaf. Oh, sorry.
Moving on to so quickly. Okay,
let's talk about Dragonfire more. There's more to say.
There's just a couple of things I wanted to say. Firstly, the art is by the same person that drew Maleficent, who's Luis Huerta, who there's a great interview with Luis on the Illuminateers channel. So if you just look on YouTube at the Illuminateers, there's I really enjoyed the interview with Luis. If you look at Luis's portfolio, literally it's a load of dragons. Like, this guy loves painting or drawing. I don't know, I think it's digital art, I'm not sure how he creates them, but loves making dragon pictures. But it's really nice because it's a totally different colorway to what we've seen in the original well, not totally different, but it's a different take on Maleficent. So it'll be really interesting if they keep this for other characters, that when we see a character that character is often drawn by the same person, because that really gives the characters a lot more depth, doesn't it? A lot more personality.
Yeah, and also he comes from a part of the world where dragons are mythically relevant. I can't remember why, but it's like the exact town he lives. It's a bit like we're in Wales, and like someone from Wales would be a cool artist for dragons because that's the national animal of Wales. It's on the flag. But there's something relevant. I can't remember what it is.
Imagine if there was another card with a dragon on that they could totally send to the content creators from Wales to talk about. That would be so cool. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. Come on, Ravensburger, you can do it.
Okay, my last question, Simeon, or maybe my last question.
Yes.
You alluded to it earlier. So why do you think some of the information is hidden at the bottom of the cards?
I have a theory.
What's your theory?
I think, I'm not sure there's any more game relevant text.
That would be weird if there was, I feel.
There might be a second line of text that said, if this happens, then something else happens. But in particular for the first set of a game, we usually
and a child-friendly game. You don't want a conditional card that does this, if this, and then if you do this, then this, which you can get to in trading card games. So I don't see this going that direction.
No, I think I don't. But what I'm really excited about is that they could be hiding flavor text, and they've already alluded to the fact that each set
seems really likely. That's quite exciting.
Each set is a part of a story, and the first set is called Chapter 1, or the first chapter. There's part of a story, and that somehow the Dragonfire, I mean, let's be honest, any story with a dragon that breathes fire in it, the Dragonfire is going to be some kind of relevant. That's a relevant story moment that we see. It would be really interesting to see who is this Dragonfire directed at, if that's a story moment. So that would be really interesting, that they don't want to spoil the story yet. The other question is, how is that story going to be told? Is it that they don't want to spoil the story on the cards yet, because we're going to get some kind of web fiction or some little videos or something like that around the first sets of Lorcana that explain the story? Because I've heard that Disney have done a couple of videos.
You've heard that Disney have done a couple of videos?
Like in their history.
Oh, I see. You're using your British subtle humour. I'm not clocking that. Yeah,
they've done a couple of videos since the 19.
I thought you meant like about Lorcana. I was like
whenever
really
it was
excited. Yeah, Disney have definitely done a couple of videos.
Yeah, they've won a couple of Oscars for a couple of the little YouTube videos they've put out and things.
Yeah. So what we can say is that in the fall, in the autumn, we'll both be a little bit older, and when you're older, absolutely everything makes sense. So it all makes sense at that point.
Possibly. Yeah. Okay. So card number 2, though, very exciting.
Yeah, I just gave a quote from Olaf.
So card number 2 is Olaf. Card number 2, Olaf is a character card. What we're assuming is cost. So the top left-hand number is 1.
1. Nice low curve.
That's what I want to see.
Lots of Olafs in your deck.
Olaf it says Olaf, friendly snowman, which, yes, I have seen the movies, all of them, a number of times, so many times. And yes, he is a friendly snowman.
Have you seen Olaf Presents?
I have. It's so funny.
It's my favourite thing.
Yeah, so Olaf Presents is a little. It's on the Disney Plus channel. It's a load of little shorts. They're literally 2 or 3 minutes each, aren't they? There's nothing to them. Where it's Olaf narrating or doing like puppet shows and things.
So I'd say Olaf is probably designed to have the maturity of a 7 or 8 year old. That's the kind of, he's got that kind of humour of a 7 or 8 year old, and explaining like the Little Mermaid from
Little Mermaid and things like that.
From a 7-year-old who's absolutely hilarious perspective.
It's brilliant. It's really brilliant. Yeah, go and watch that if you haven't seen it. Anyway, so the two numbers were, I don't know, attack and defense, whatever they are. The first number is 1. The second number, defense, is 3, and is a Storyborn Ally. So this is a card type we haven't seen before. Ally. It's great to see the rules text on the card is nothing at all. So this is what in trading card games we call a vanilla card. There's no rules text, no additional rules to get tangled up with.
Yep.
And the flavor text is, I'm Olaf and I like warm hugs.
Nice. Lots of things to say about I Love.
Go.
So the first thing is from Izzy van der Velde, who wrote on thegamer.com about the card. And Izzy says, one of Izzy's speculations, so you've said there's no abilities on the card. And so Izzy's saying, well, maybe there is, and maybe they've taken them off. I'm not sure. I think if there was, they would have smoked it over with their magical smoke like they've done with the Dragonfire.
Yeah, I think that a trading card, I've seen this before, and I've also seen this with other games where people have said, oh yeah, that's what the preview does, but is that the final thing? And I think that most companies, especially with trading card companies, is they want to drive hype around the cards, and if they started putting out previews that weren't the actual thing, then that would take away from the hype around other cards. It may be that it's inconsequential for Olaf.
It would damage them in the future.
It would damage them in the future.
Yeah.
The other thing is that from the Disney Lorcana at Disney Lorcana Twitter channel, we know that they've been through proofing, so they have the final proofs of the cards. They know what the final cards look like.
Yeah.
I mean, the speculation, they could do it, but I think they'll be unwise to add other stuff to these cards now.
Yeah. So the next thing I want to talk about is the ally text.
Okay.
So, we're trying to work out what that is and how it works.
So far, the other 7 character cards we've seen are all either heroes or villains.
And we discussed how potentially, when you're making a deck, it might have to be all heroes working together or all villains working together. You weren't sure about that because you thought then if you crack open some packs, it really restricts you in your deck building if there's a kind of...
I'm leaning ever more towards that, in that now we know that there's a hard 2 ink limit to colours in your deck. So if I'm... I was going to say, so if I'm somebody cracking open, I am going to crack open some of these packs. If I'm somebody who goes, oh, yeah, I'm going to buy six packs of this just for funsies, crack them open, see what there is. I'm assuming that my initial purchase for Lorcana is going to be the starter decks and then some packs to crack open to put into the starter decks once I've got bored of the starter decks.
Yeah.
Now, if I crack those open and I want to build a 3-color deck, I already know I can't do that. And now, if I open an amazing red or ruby as card that is a villain, but I've got a hero deck, it's just another restriction, is it? So, you can't do that, you can't do that, you can't do that.
Unless the packs are coloured on the outside so you know what you're getting.
So some companies have tried to do that, but it's really difficult to do. Because if the chase card...
To do it well balanced. Oh, yeah. And
if the chase card in a set...
If everyone wants Brave Little Tailor, because that's a really powerful card, and they know that's red, then everyone's going to be picking red packs.
Everyone's picking red packs, yeah. Totally. Mm-hmm. Or if everybody's... or if they have hero packs or villain packs, and... the chase card is in the hero packs, and no one's taking the villain. Yeah, the other thing, when we talked about this before already, but if you turn up to your game shop for the monthly tournament, the monthly Lorcana tournament, to go, oh, brilliant, let's play, and you end up with 6 villains playing against 20 hero decks, or vice versa. You're just left going... No,
I don't necessarily think they'd have to play against the opposite deck.
Oh, okay.
So because of the ally thing, I'm leaning more into that theory of you build a hero deck or a villain deck.
You think that is a...
And then the ally is kind of the bridge. So the ally can go either way. That's one of my theories.
How about this? So we've seen challenging.
Yeah.
How about that heroes can only challenge villains and villains can challenge heroes?
And what do allies do then? Allies can be either.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, so one of my other things that's quite interesting is how allies function in Marvel Champions, because that has a card type ally.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so you have your main hero, be that Spider-Man, Captain Marvel, Iron Man, and then you have allies in your deck, the other superheroes from the Marvel universe. And then each turn in Marvel Champions, the villain will attack you, or not each turn, but a lot of turns they'll attack you. And when they do, you can either say, okay, myself as Spider-Man, I'm going to block this damage, or I'm going to take the damage and heal it later on, or you can say, actually, ally, Mockingbird, come in,
okay,
and take the damage for me.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So that's one of the things that allies are really useful for, is you protect yourself as the main hero. So I'm wondering, we've discussed this a little bit and you weren't sure about it, but I'm wondering if allies have an ability, but I think it would be on the ability text rather than in the type. But if allies can jump in, so say one of my best cards gets challenged, I can say, nope, Olaf's jumping in, just have some snow. You can banish some snow.
You can banish a pile of snow
instead.
Yeah.
So
no skull or bones. Yeah. You know, I'm not sure. So the reason I didn't necessarily think that was the case is just because there's no reminder text.
Yeah, I agree. I agree that would be, if that was a thing, it would likely have reminder text. Yeah, so I think it's quite unlikely, but I just thought it's interesting.
Yeah, so we've already seen reminder text on the card. So just as a reminder, on the Mickey card, it says that Mickey's on the Brave Little Tailor card, the ability is evasive. That's the only ability, is evasive. But in brackets, it says only characters with evasive can challenge this character. At that point, it's like, oh, okay. If this was an ally, then would it say in brackets on Olaf? Would it say allies do this? Close brackets. Which I think for the first set, yeah, probably. So I think that, yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, and the fact that there are villains and heroes and allies now, and that there are Storyborn and Floodborn and Dreamborn characters. I mean, there's been a lot of speculation about this, but it could be very little. It could mean a lot for the story of the game and very little for gameplay. Or it could mean very little now, and that in 3 or 4 sets we start to see mechanics that start to impact it.
That's interesting.
I mean,
that's yeah.
At the moment, we're speculating based on what we see, whereas it's as likely to be. Oh, that means nothing at all.
Yeah, other than when we're describing the cards that we're seeing. Literally all of this is speculation.
Totally. Okay, what do you think about the value for this card? So it only costs 1.
Yeah, that's always good in my book if a card costs 1.
I prefer cards that cost nothing at all.
Yeah, okay, Simeon. That's quite a rare thing.
Well, last night, David and I were playing Magic the Gathering, and the second game, we were like, shall we play a second game? It's getting late. And I was like, yeah, let's play a second game. And I played my deck that makes zombies. For those of you who are, it's an Oketra deck. For those of you who are Magic fans, go and look up Oketra. God Eternal Oketra. So if I play a creature, then Oketra makes a big zombie. A big, scary zombie. So obviously, in that deck, I've got the creatures that cost nothing at all to play.
And lots of creatures that cost 1 as well.
Yeah, lots of creatures that just cost nothing at all. It's like, oh, that's a 0. What does it do? Well, nothing. But it makes a big zombie. Okay, anyway. So
1 for a 1/3, I feel like in general play, if you're not doing a best ever deck, but you're just turning up and you open this in a pack, that's the kind of thing that I would put in a deck if it was in a Magic game. Yeah,
I mean, the other thing is that it's almost exactly the same, only switched around, to Captain Hook. So Captain Hook is a 1/2, but is a challenger +2. So when it's challenging, it gets +2 power, attack. I don't know what we're calling the action number, which is almost exactly the same. So I mean, a 1/2.
It's the same, but also better, because Olaf can't take out Captain Hook, but Captain Hook can take out Olaf. So if Olaf challenges Captain Hook's like, nope, I've got 2 power. You've got 2 defense, you've only got 1 power. It's not happening. If Captain Hook challenges Olaf, he's got 3 power when he challenges. So then Olaf's gone because Olaf's only got 3.
I mean, as much as I love Happy Little Snowman, I think that's thematically right. There would be something wrong with the game if a Happy Little Snowman could take out a pirate captain with a sword for a hand.
Yeah. So they're almost the same, but I feel like Olaf's probably going to be quite a easy card to find in packs. If you're opening a pack, you'll get a lot of Olafs. You won't get a lot of Captain Hooks. That's my thinking.
Yeah, no, I mean, we've yet to see. Yeah,
they're more powerful.
We've yet to see what the rarity thing looks like for the game, but yeah. I'd assume that especially due to the card type as well. Allies, I'm imagining they'll probably put a lot of different.
Maybe you only allowed 1 hero or 1 villain, and that's like the leader of your deck.
Perhaps
because they're like the big signature cards, aren't they?
Would you have though a big signature card that costs 1?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe.
I don't think that's likely, but it could be a thing.
It could be. I don't know. I was looking at some of them really do read like that. Like the Robin Hood card does a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, other cards, Cruella de Vil doesn't do a lot of stuff to be a villain.
Yeah.
To be the only, or it doesn't look like it. Yeah, it doesn't look like it does a lot to be that type of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, more speculation. So at the bottom of this, it has been cut off again at the bottom of the card.
Much less significantly than the Dragonfire.
Yeah, it doesn't look like that. Do you think there's anything else we're missing from the bottom of the card, or do we think that's it?
I think the reason they've cut that off is because it would probably say, like, this is card number 10 out of 100 or something, and they don't want us to know at this time how big the initial set is and things like that, and also how relevant the D23 logo at the bottom is, because at the moment that's driving value. So like what's going to be where the D23 logo is on, so things like that I think they're thinking about. Are we close to rounding up the episode?
Have you got a game for me?
I don't, I'm sorry.
Because you know what? I don't have a game for you.
I do have something exciting.
Oh, do?
I've got your gift. Your Brave Little Tailor.
Oh, this is amazing.
I mean, it's genuine, but not genuine, because it's not a Lorcana card, but it's a genuine...
For those of you who haven't...
Listen to the previous episode.
Listen to the previous episode. David has purchased me a Brave Little Tailor card. However, not the Lorcana Brave Little Tailor card, because, I mean...
I'm not that generous.
I wouldn't expect to ever receive that. This is a trading card. You know what? I'll pop a picture on the Twitters, and you can have a look from a game called Disney Impel. Is that right?
That's who made it. I think they're like a trading card.
Oh, it does
printers.
say it on the bottom. Yeah, Impel. It's a trading card game from the early 90s, or a trading card from the early 90s.
It wasn't a game. You just collected the cards. Yeah.
Amazing. And
you can still buy boxes of unopened booster packs. I'll call them booster packs, and you can crack them open and see what you get.
You know what? It's very beautiful, and it's very early 90s. This is what everything that I played with as a kid looked like. This is amazing. It's the Brave Little Tailor, and he's looking surprised on the front, and really, he looks like he's having a terrible time on the back, really down on himself. Brave Little Tailor, 1938. That's
why Brave Little Tailor is down on himself. Do you know the story?
Well, let me read you the back of the card.
Oh, the story's there. Go on then.
When Mickey says he got 7 with 1 blow, he's talking about houseflies. But everyone thinks he means giants. So the Brave Little Tailor is sent to rid the town of its biggest problem, a troublesome giant who could squash Mickey just like a fly.
Yeah, that's why he's looking like that, because he's been sent to fight the giant.
Brilliant.
So I'm pretty sure the giant will be in this first set as well.
So if, like me, you are not going to be spending $800 or upwards on a Mickey Brave Little Tailor card from D23, and you want one now, this is absolutely beautiful. I'll pop a photo of the card on the Twitters.
And there are a couple of Brave Little Tailor. So in the set, they do like different scenes from different short films or movies, and so there's like probably about 9 or 10 in the set of Brave Little Tailor that you can collect if you want to do the whole Brave Little Tailor thing.
Beautiful. Well, thank you very much, David.
You're very welcome.
So we usually round out the podcast with a little game. We haven't got a game, But I thought we also, you know what we also haven't had? We also haven't had a segment from the child.
Let's finish with that then. That sounds
So
exciting.
brilliant.
You do it. I will look forward to listening.
Amazing. We'll leave you with a child, but if you want to get in touch with us, drop us a tweet if Twitter still exists when you hear this, at Lorcana Podcast. You can also email us at lorcanapodcast@gmail.com. Send us other games. We've already had people send us in little quizzes to play at the end, so send us stuff like that. Send us your questions. And let us know what you think about the new cards. And if you think that we've missed anything on the new cards, pop it in the comments below.
And leave us a review on your favourite
we're not doing the whole
podcasting channel.
Yeah, we're not doing the whole Patreon thing yet. We haven't got sponsors. This is literally two guys with a couple of microphones recording a podcast. But we really would appreciate if you can do the equivalent of like and subscribe and press all of the buttons wherever you are, whatever platform you're on. That would really help us. Okay, we're going to leave you with a child.
I'm back.
Hello, how are you doing?
Good.
Amazing. It's 2023. How was your year?
Good.
Just good.
Yeah, I guess.
So usually I end every podcast with a little game or quiz or something for David, and I didn't prepare one in time this time. So it means you get to be subjected to the quiz.
Oh no. This isn't going to work.
Well, this is an official quiz off of the Disney.
Oh.
The Disney website has a load of quizzes.
Oh.
With titles such as, which Gravity Falls character are you?
Oh no.
So which Gravity Falls character do you think you're most like?
I don't know.
Okay, for those of you who haven't listened to the podcast before, we've spoken a lot about one of the child's favourite Disney series called Gravity Falls.
Yes.
So which one do you want to be? Which character do you think you're most like?
I think, like I said, I don't know.
Oh, well, let's find out. Let's find out.
What's the first question?
Okay, you find a mysterious journal in the woods. What do you do? Here are the options.
I'm going to burn it.
You're going to burn it. Okay. Which supernatural creatures are you currently tracking
Should
down?
be the funniest one. All of them.
All of them. What music do you like to listen to?
Disco. I'm just doing the funniest ones.
Well, you are a funny guy. Two secret government agents knock on your door. What do you do?
Dance.
Dance?
Yeah.
With them?
I can't believe that's an option.
Okay, what do you do on the hottest day of summer?
Free a captive merman.
Okay. What is your happy place?
Arcade.
Good. It's a good option. What's your favourite Summerween candy?
Summerween.
You know, Summerween, like Halloween, only in summer. What's it gonna be?
Sandpop? I don't know.
Sand
I have no
pop.
idea what a sandpop is.
I don't want to eat sand. Which era of history should Time Baby send you to?
Time Baby.
Don't you remember Time Baby from the Time
remember
Traveller?
Time Baby.
There's a time travel episode with a baby.
1980s.
So what would you do in the 1980s?
No idea.
Okay, so what is your dream job?
Lumberjack. Why did I press that one? I
Amazing.
was trying to press the other one.
And which city would you vacation in?
Gravity Falls.
Okay, you go to the Mystery Shack. What would you buy?
Random object.
Amazing.
Okay, which one am I?
You are most like, drum roll please, Dipper Pines.
I do not want to be Dipper Pines.
What's wrong with Dipper Pines? He's like the main dude.
He didn't want to burn the journal.
No, he didn't want to burn the journal. But you did do a load of random answers.
I do want to do this again.
You want to do it again?
Yes.
Who do you want to be then?
I want to be someone else's. So anyone else that's not Dipper. Because when I was thinking, not Dipper. Please.
Well, there you go. That's the deal. I'm very sorry you're disappointed. And with that, you'll have to go into 2023 knowing that you are most like Dipper Pines. Officially. According to Disney.
I'm sad now. I was thinking I was going to be someone like Grunkle Stan.
Grunkle Stan is very cool. Do you know what it came out for me?
What?
Suze.
What did you press for the first one?
I don't know. I can't remember. Okay, don't be sad though, because you get to sign off the podcast, so you can say goodbye to everyone. I love that you just did a salute, not realising this is an audio podcast.